think... Yeah. Yeah, you can just sell to anyone. I thought so. Anyway. Like, that's a fucking controversial opinion, but it needs to be said. Also, now, this could be me remembering some other shit wrong, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver also... And if this is me remembering wrong, I will, like, my bad.
I'll just grab the grits and stuff and then actually move on.
I seem to remember, so, like, you don't have a magnetic field, so you can't evolve Magnezone. You don't have an Icy Rock or a Mossy Rock. It's Gen 2, so you do have a proper day and night cycle. So Umbreon and Espeon, because they're Generation 2 Pokemon, work. But I seem to remember...
before you continue, that's another thing. You can't get Umbreon and Espeon and Fire Red and Leaf Green because they don't have a day and night cycle.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you were going to say
damn it. Unless I'm remembering wrong, the other kind of silly thing about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, while it technically accepts all Pokemon, I seem to remember some of the, Gen 4 evolutionary items, like the Magmarizer and Electrizer and stuff, are basically non-existent.
They basically only exist in the post-game via VP.
That's what I was... That was the point. Where you still require a Generation 4 game to trade... to get everything, so while it accepts all...
I have a decent amount of money, so I'm going to get a few of these. If the next goes to like 5,000 or something, I might stop. As in, that would be the last one I get. Let's see. Oh no, 250. We'll always just see what the next one is and then stop.
2,500, that wasn't 50.
But my point is, it's not that expensive. Let's see what the...
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'll
just stop for now.
Defend Heart Gold and Soul Silver and go, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. But no, because it has just as many sort of stupid flaws.
Yes.
Yeah, it accepted Gen 4. But in a Heart Gold and Soul Silver game, while you can use Magnezone to get a Magnezone that requires trading from Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, that forces you to trade.
It's the only one I can increase. Might as well.
That forces you to trade. So, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, even if they had accepted every Pokemon, which also, in general, fucking secondary controversy, after regardless of how you feel about the Dexit and the Dex cuts and stuff, the fucking remake would have never, had, even if they accepted up to a more modern standard, it likely would have just been the, Pokemon that are in, Sword and Shield's DLC and the one or two other Pokemon that exist in earlier generations that you kind of need to have a remake of Diamond and Pearl. And you would have likely ended up in sort of the same issue of needing to trade.
Yeah.
And as good as Heart Gold and Soul Silver can be, let's really be realistic here. That the movesets and shit are just as bad. That game's difficulty is all over the place.
You're seeing what?
So, like...
I'm going to actually move on and do something.
Look at, like, honestly, go look at Heart Gold and Soul Silver's movesets, and they're just as laughably bad. It's just the surface level. Oh, but unlike the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you technically have access to Generation 4 things. It's not
Even though you really fucking don't. you only basically get access to that shit in, like, the post-game.
But this is where people will go, but in Brilliant Diamond, if you're in the post-game or, like, Shining Pearl, it doesn't matter. I can't use, like, Rillaboom. They don't accept generation, like, anything.
Also, I know, I kind of hate when people do this, but it's true some time. You think you want every Pokemon in the same game, but you really don't want that. That is what leads to the homogenized metagame. When you have Incineroar in every game, that is what leads to Incineroar having a almost 90% usage in doubles. So I'm actually glad, and I want them to actually start wildly changing a Pokemon around each game. Now, I will admit a small problem is this, and they do seem to realize that there are certain things that literally are needed for team styles to function. Like, it seems like Pelipper and Torkoal will now always be there, because if they're not, Rain and Sun literally don't exist. I kind of hate being that type of person, but it is true. If it's like, you think, like I said, you want every Pokemon in the same game, but you don't. Show the complete Pokédex entry for Octillery. Let's see how the fuck I do shit with Octillery. Also, insert joke about a woman wanting the octopus.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want them ordered by research level, because that would super help for things like this, where... it's the Pokédex entry. I don't even know if I've caught an Octillery. Seems like no. Wasn't there a Alpha Octillery somewhere? Wait, isn't there an Alpha Octillery by that one beach?
I think. But... while we're going down just this rant, I'm, leaving this shit in, because it does kind of need to be said that it is basically... we're now at a point where I kind of feel, and the more I've thought about this over the past few years, up to Gen 4, where Gen 4 having every Pokemon, that gets you to 493, nearly 500 Pokemon. Every subsequent generation pushed a good number of Pokemon, where every subsequent generation added around 100 or more new Pokemon. Getting to the point of Generation 8 being right under 1,000. And we're now at the apex, where... for Pokemon to have any sort of semblance of a competitive metagame, we kind of need to keep the Dexit going. While I was initially sort of knee-jerk reaction to losing access to certain things, I realized that now the sort of constant revolving swap end of Pokemon circling in and out is way fucking healthier, because
plus this depends on the game. It could also shoot the game's narrative in the foot, because, like, a small aspect of Sun and Moon's story is a bit of a meta-commentary on invasive species, because Hawaii had a real big problem with that, and here's you literally importing Pokémon from over time and space. Kind of shoot your narrative in the foot there.
And the other thing, because this really is a good fucking point, that now that we're over 1,000 fucking Pokemon, that if every Pokemon continue to exist in every fucking game, even if it took transfer, which was always the case anyway, where you could never catch all the Pokemon, once you started transferring in the one or two sort of problematic Pokemon, we would have, and this is coming from someone that loves competitive, but is a cynical fucking douche. If we had access to every Pokemon ever, pretty much immediately going forward, collectively on a competitive level, going forward, more than anything, we would have the same sort of metagame where the only slight difference in the metagame would be one or two new Pokemon that exist.
Okay, you're gonna have to look up the beach where you find Octillery, because I don't fucking remember where that is, and I don't seem to have it logged enough to check. I could have sworn it was the fucking beach I just went to.
I thought it was the beach in the beach level. That, coastal area where we started the recording. Where the fire den is. I'm pretty sure Octillery's out there, not...
Damn it. Motherfucker. Also, how did you jump as this thing? Oh, that's how.
There you go.
Damn it. Motherfuckers.
Too many things see you, so you're gonna have... Wait! Just... Go jump in the water! You have the fish! Just jump off the cliff!
I'm trying.
Just run, jump off the cliff. Just right away.
I forgot that was automatic.
Yes. There. Save me, rescue agent!
Said no one ever.
Damn it. I'm just imagining they're jumping off a cliff, heading to the water, and it's just the Basculegion is just in some other water with like a cigar in its mouth, smoking, hits the water, starts drowning. Basculegion!
Ah.
This, because this is all like coast. And now that you have water travel, I am pretty sure Octillery can be found on the beaches of Normandy down here.
That is not the button I meant to click. And I can't fly to anything close, motherfucker.
It's fine. There's like plenty of beads, and I'm pretty sure we ended up finding... Yeah, there's plenty of ghost types down here, too.
Because I remember running in to an alpha Octillery because I, like any water type, remember bitching out, if I had Storm Drain, this would be irrelevant.
I'm pretty sure we're on a beach down here. But with the water travel, I mean, you can come and go pretty easily, because you can see there's a bunch of water types. And this is why I leave like 20 different therapy pages open at any given day. Because I can figure out exactly where Octillery are. That is look it up. Might also be like some day spawns.
I thought alphas, like...
Okay, certain alphas that always exist unless it's an alpha that cycles and isn't always there. But regardless, I'm gonna... Okay, let's see where artillery are. Okay, Cobalt Coastlands, Castaway Shore, Isle Spy Shore, or nearby.
Castaway is shore, so it's the top half of the map.
Right away! There. Easy. And this is what Google's for.
Thanks, Fish Son, but I only have one true Fish Son. I will simp for a Barracuda until people will recognize Her Majesty.
It's that meme of Wolverine holding the picture, but it's your face and the picture is Barracuda.
No, it will only be that way if Barracuda isn't in Scarlet and Violet.
Oh! My weird deer's legs!
Any day now. And...
Ah, there he is.
Oh, there's the lad.
Meaning I was right, it was the coastlands. You just had the wrong shore.
Who the fuck still sees me and why?
It's a ghost type.
Fucking assholes.
And I think a Murkrow saw you too. The tried and true solution of just swim away.
It should not be as effective as it is.
Or should I say the tried and true solution?
Boo.
The reason that's as effective as it is because land-based Pokemon can't chase you into the sea.
There's a bunch of scary things in there.
Jumped by ninjas!
You're not the octopus I wanted, honey.
But they both stink of fish. Not going to elaborate. Oh, man. Gengar. All your favorites.
And the game gets 2 turns because fuck you.
Because Gengar's fast and you slow.
Now please be a, I fucking hate you.
Night night.
Come on. This is what we call bullshit. RNG is fucking bullshit.
Whew. Whew. And Castron got obliterated, but...
Because RNG is stupid. RNG is stupid and this battle system is designed to give the game unfair
Advantages, yes.
And at least I'm getting good money out of that.
Damn it, I couldn't straight face my awkward joke. Man, I didn't think we'd be getting jumped by the clan today.
I thought I picked up... Did I forget revives? Motherfucker.
Because you didn't have enough...
I thought I grabbed those.
Nope. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, what is your opinion on the second part of the discussion about remakes we were having? I know I asked a similar remake-focused question in one of the last parts, but I stand by the discussion that we started having. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are not really that bad. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are overhyped in a lot of ways, as are Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like Carson said, Fire Red and Leaf Green don't have a day and night cycle, so that forces you to trade to get Umbreon and Espeon. Oh, and I seem to remember in the main story of Fire Red and Leaf Green that Golbat will never become a Crobat, even if it has maximum friendship. Like, they specifically programmed the game to hard cap that evolution, which some people might argue is for consistency, but at the same time, you could also argue that the remakes restricted you, and that's not okay, and after you beat the game and connect to Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald to unlock the National Dex, I'm pretty sure the friendship evolution works after the fact, and I wasn't even thinking about this at the time. You need the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald linking bullshit to unlock the National Dex function, so in order to actually get the remakes, Fire Red and Leaf Green, to truly accept everything, you need to do that secret quest to unlock the National Dex, and the National Dex is unlocked using other Generation 3 games. So, regardless of how you feel about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, at least you don't need to connect to an older Pokemon game in order to unlock the National Dex, and I will at least give Gold and Silver credit. You also don't need to do that for the Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Technically, I just called them Gold and Silver, but that would infer Generation 2, but anyway, I'm just making that semantic difference. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the remakes. My overall ramble here is basically what Carson said was right. The other remakes also have crippling flaws, but it seems like nostalgia has shielded the flaws of those remakes, and nobody really stops to realize that those remakes are not as great as people might think. While you could say Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are a little bit basic, at least they technically do not require much in order to technically achieve a lot of core features. And the other thing, anyway, most Pokemon games require some form of transfer to actually get a lot of other Pokemon, but what's cool about the remakes, a lot of the weird intermediate Pokemon are actually available in the post-game. using the National Dex mode in the Grand Underground, a lot of unique Pokemon are actually available, so I can actually say that the remakes technically make it possible to easily get a lot of obscure Pokemon as part of the 493, and I know somebody might say, oh, but the Arceus event ties to Legends Arceus, and yes, that is true, but that's one mythical event versus large chunks of the Pokedex being locked behind evolutionary methods that you cannot do, meaning if you wanted to complete the Pokedex or use one of those evolutions on a team, you need to trade or transfer, and in the case of the magnetic field nonsense, you would need to have a Magneton in Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, evolve it in Mount Coronet with the magnetic field, and then trade it to Heart Gold or Soul Silver in order to have a Magnezone. Because that is a Gen 4 evolution, so you need the Gen 4 games. And Fire Red and Leaf Green do not have a day and night cycle, so you can't get Umbreon and Espeon, but those are Gen 2 Pokemon. Because they are Gen 2 Pokemon, they're basically banned anyway until you unlock the National Dex, which also means Zubat into Golbat is all you get. Crobat will refuse to exist until you have the National Dex, and that was literally just friendship. So, instead of fudging the Dex a little bit, they rigidly force you to follow the main Dex, which I don't inherently have a problem with, but then you need to link to a Generation 3 game to get the National Dex. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl might technically force you to adhere to the Sinnoh Dex until you unlock the National Dex in the post-game, but you don't need to link to a different game. My point is these other remakes have crippling flaws, and you could make an argument that it's far worse with Fire Red and Leaf Green to require literally linking to an entirely different Game Boy game to have Fire Red and Leaf Green unlock National Dex mode. That means the unlock requirements require connecting an entirely different fucking game. That's ridiculous. While kind of cool, that basically means you would need 2 Game Boys and a link cable, and the Fire Red or Leaf Green, and then Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald to basically unlock the National Dex mode in the Fire Red and Leaf Green copy you have. And yes, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl do not have the modern Pokedex that existed at the time of them making those games, which would be up to the Crowned Tundra, but at least everything is technically available through the main game, the post game, and you barely, if at all, need another Pokemon game other than Legends Arceus, but I would make an argument that Arceus was never given out correctly in the old Gen 4 games. The flute side quest, I believe it was the Azure Flute, was never actually given out. They just gave out generic, like, level 100 Arceus events. They never actually let you get the flute. So, this is the first time the flute has been available, so they tied it to Legends, which, while a little bit egregious, I'm not going to lie, is not the worst thing ever for one event to finally see that event happen. But anyway, I am rambling. My whole point here, what Carson said is true. Other remakes have crippling flaws, but nostalgia has made people ignore that. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or You can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shield for a minute if you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media. That really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.